everyone. No, I am not sitting in front of a very colorful gay waterfall. It's just I thought this is an appropriate background for summer, which is the season of Pride. So somewhere in Canada, in our community, there's a Pride happening over summer. And welcome to the show. Welcome to the season finale of season 8. And we're going to be heading over. You tune back in again in October, around late fall, and we're going to be starting with season 9, and it's going to be fantastic. We have a lot of great guests and more great ideas, and we're looking at some big plans. So we'll see where we're going to be taking this show. I mentioned Pride. So Pride is the season, happens in summer. Our community has been a subject to a bunch of hate lately. I will say that, and more so in the US. So if you are a community, stay proud, stay safe, and stay vigilant. And if you are an ally, please speak up. The only way we can unite and quiet against, and we can quiet hate, is by all of us good people speaking up together and making our voices drown the voices of hate. All right, I had to say that. Comedy. This is what this episode is all about. My guest is a comedian. And for me, comedy is really one of the most wonderful gifts that we have as people. I don't know if I can handle the crazy times we are living in if I don't dedicate at least a half an hour to an hour daily for something that makes me laugh, whether watching a favorite comedy show, whether looking at clips online. I do make sure that comedy and laughter is infused into my day so I can handle the next day. So with that, I invited comedian Robert Watson to join me on this show today. Robert is an award-winning playwright, performer, and fragrance aficionado extraordinaire. And we're going to find out what that means during the show. He has been proclaimed an LGBTQ plus voice in comedy that you should know by CBC Arts. So with that, why don't we bring him on? Hello, Robert.
Hi.
Welcome to the show.
Happy Pride. Happy Pride. Thank you for having me.
I actually, you know what? I just saw your mug as we were tuning in.
Oh yes.
And that brings me. I was going to say I love your promo photo. He has a coffee mug and a milk stash.
Yes.
The stash is the rainbow. Is that what the mug refers to?
This mug actually was the inspiration for my rainbow milk mustache. I was like, oh, I want to do a gut pride version of my rainbow mustache.
I think it was very cute and very smart. I like it.
Oh, thanks. I hope I haven't made everyone sick of seeing me with that picture. It's been sort of all over the place on social media. I'm sure people are very excited to have me disappear until next June.
When we like a photo, though, if we're in PR and we need to get ourselves out there, when we like a photo or two, I have photos that I've been using for. Luckily, I don't think I've aged in 10 years. I'll just say that.
Nicely done.
I have photos from 10 years ago. Just you like them, and you just want to keep. If you stick with it. Tell me a little bit. Tell me about the fragrance thing. What is that all about?
Oh yes, being a fragrance aficionado extraordinaire. That's a little thing I like to put into my bio because I sold fragrances at Hudson's Bay for like 10 years.
You were one of those?
I mean, I don't want to say I was one of those that like as you go by because that makes people mad. But that is what people think of fragrance people, but not exactly. Like it was, just learning all these froofy words like fougere and I don't know, like citrus and I don't know, all like top
You're
notes.
Lucky that I love fragrances, and I actually love people spraying me when I walk by fragrance.
Well, people who like it a lot. People who don't really don't, and you really find out very quickly. You find it very quickly working like that. But yeah, like I still find myself, I'll walk into an elevator and I'll smell a fragrance. I'm like, I know the name of that, and people get really weirded out.
No, I thought you were like developing your own perfume or fragrance or
something. Like a gay perfume.
I think that would be awesome, actually.
Oh my gosh, what would that
Let's think about that. Let's talk after.
Okay.
Let's see if there's business there to be done. Speaking of business, where did you start? How did you get to your start in comedy business?
Oh wow. I mean, it's a long and sordid tale. But I mean, I have a theater background, so so I've been doing theater for years. I actually had quite a bit of writing success writing for theater for young audiences, believe it or not. So I've actually got nominated for a couple Doras in my career, which is a big deal in Toronto for anyone who, well, even Toronto.
We're gonna talk
So,
about that. Absolutely, we're gonna talk about that in segment 2. But yes, so yeah, that's your background.
yeah, that's my background, and I found, I always in my writing always edged towards things that were humorous. So I got to this point where I was like, you know what, I want to see what happens when I put myself on stage with my own writing and just personally telling jokes and talking about my life experiences or my observations from my particular point of view, and just trying to make people laugh. It's something I do after a few drinks, anyways, trying to make people laugh. So it's like, hey, why not try to
Why
make
not
some
make
money
money
off
out of
this?
it? Yeah. Was that something you like? Were you always as a kid interested in that and in comedy and being funny? And
Well, I was quite often the class clown.
I was gonna
I
say
think,
that you must be. Yeah.
yeah, and I think that's something maybe a lot of queer people do, because it's like it's the way of like I want people to look at me on my terms, and quite often
Yeah.
as queer kids, there's some sort of tell for people that there's something different about that kid, and it's like whatever we do to protect ourselves. And I do think humor was one of the ways that I, put up that, not necessarily a shield up to protect myself, but something to invite people in. To to just like me and not pick on me, that's the things we do as a kid, but it ended up being something that's brought me great joy throughout my life, finding the humor in things. So,
Very nice and very beautifully articulated. I like that.
oh, thanks, I'll take that.
Folks, let's take just a quick break, and we will be back with Robert Watson. So don't go anywhere.
I love my lips. My beautiful lips. I love my eyes. My beautiful eyes. I respect nature. I love all living things. Beauty is kind. I am beautiful. Love the earth. Love your life. Live life healthy.
And we are back with lovely comedian Robert Watson, and we're gonna now talk about work and everything has to do with comedy. So, you are the creator of the hit web series A Gay Victorian Affair, winner of 4 Canadian Comedy Awards, including Best Web Series with over 3 million views on YouTube. Actually, no, wait. I'm going to actually read the longer description of the show because there's some gold in there.
Yeah, there's some fun stuff in the House of
You
Scratch,
are
sure.
the creator of the Super Gay web series, A Gay Victorian Affair, winner of 4 Canadian Comedy Awards 2019, and Best LGBT Web Series at both Rio de Janeiro and Baltimore Web Festival, featured in IndieWire Top 5 Web Series of 2018.
There's
It
lots,
was
but
that's
I put it all in that bio.
I like it. Hey, well, I gotta know what you're doing. It was an official selection for NYC Web Fest, Holly Web, Miami, London, Sydney, Rio, Seoul. Wow. Jeff Bill Lightbox as part of the TO Web Fest. And its first season can be viewed on gayvictorianaffair.com. How many seasons are there?
Oh, there is one season. So the four episodes. We did that as my husband and I, Andrew Lamb, he's the director of that piece, and we did that as a way to like let people know, like, hey, we make stuff. Like it's sort of like I guess you could have called it a proof of concept if someone wanted to pick it up.
Okay.
But I mean, it was just a little labor of love. I was so ticked off by the end of the Downton Abbey television series,
Sure.
how they treated their one gay character. It's like everyone got their happy ending, and Thomas just got to keep his job, and that was his happy ending. I was so mad. So I think we're going to make a super gay web series about the Victorian era, and it's all about this a gay man and a lesbian woman who enter into this marriage of convenience in order to keep their true desires a secret, and
Okay.
then they help each other hook up. So it was my way of saying, look, gay sex was happening then. People, could perhaps be happy while being gay. Although who knows in the Victorian era, but people did what they had to do, right, in order to be
Good.
themselves. So we wanted to explore that, and we did that through a humorous way. Tons of dirty Victorian sex slang, by the way. So if you like the idea of finding out some interesting new words for the bedroom, it might be a good place to find it.
How long is each episode?
Yeah, they're about around like 6 minutes each. Yeah, so they're nice, bite-sized, enjoyable little lunch break. But maybe not quite suitable for work. But
Don't watch it while your boss is behind you.
Yeah, maybe don't do that. Yeah.
You know what? Honestly, I did not get a chance to see it yet as I was prepping. But now that we're talking about it, you know where I'm going to be jumping after this talk.
Oh, and hey, and it's great. Whenever I find in this world of web series, whenever someone says, "Hey, I have a web series, you should watch it," it's like everyone goes, "Oh," because they come in varying degrees of quality.
Exactly. We've seen web series that.
Yeah. I mean, I have best friends who still haven't watched, and I find that hilarious. And I still find it hilarious that they're still my best friends.
Okay, we gotta do something about that.
Hey, if you got time and you want to have a gay old time, it's a great little thing to watch for sure. And with 3 million views, I mean, some people think it's good.
I'll keep you posted. I'll be sending you. You know what? Honestly, from what you're describing, now that I know all of that, that's a topic that would interest me. I probably laugh at the hilarity.
Oh, I hope you do. Fantastic. Let me know after.
And any plans, like you say, you're putting it almost out as a resume, but you don't want to continue with another season or anything?
Yeah, I guess right now it's in a little bit of an I don't know space, simply because the pandemic really changed how you have to go about filming things, and it's prohibitive, the cost of making things, and when you're doing your second time around, you don't necessarily have people doing the same favors as the first time. So I mean, we're trying, but there's so many other projects that we're working on. We did this great short film that was just shown at Pridezilla called "You Belong." That can also be found on the A Gay Victorian Affair YouTube channel, and it's all about gay dinosaurs. So we do different things.
I can look at that too. Cool. We're going to talk now about your stand-up comedy.
Oh, gosh, yes.
We are on Rogers. I want to say gay AF, and it means
it means whatever you want it
whatever you want it to be.
But at the end of a show, I may say it in the way that probably most people expect those two words to mean.
Thank you for working around the Rogers and PG. So it is the Toronto's premier place to find top-notch queer comedians who represent the many intersections of the LGBTQ2S+ community. I admire you for doing this.
I mean, thank you.
As an idea, fantastic. And I know we don't get a lot of chances for representation, and we're going to talk about the comedy scene. So what came up with it? How did you come up with the idea? Where are we on? How many years? All that sort of stuff.
Yeah, well, we started Gay AF comedy in 2019. Actually, my friend Vong Shou, who's a very, very popular comedian with his own comedy brands, like Rice, or he also has Fruit is what is his queer brand that he uses now. We started that together, and he said, "You know what, Rob, I have other things I need to do. You go ahead and take Gay AF comedy," and I've just been working on making it into what it is as something that's sort of all encompassing for the entire queer community. I know the word gay isn't something everyone identifies by, but saying that you're gay AF is something that lots of people say. So
that gay does not necessarily mean the sexuality; it just means happy.
Well, yeah, exactly. Good point. And to be able to give a platform to, I mean, there's just so many amazing queer comedians in our community in Toronto and around the GTA in Canada. It's just growing more and more. And so often there's not a platform where where queer comedians can be completely who they want to be on stage with a queer audience. And allies, of course. Everyone is welcome. If you're cool with queer people, you're cool with me. So everyone's welcome. But it's just this great place to just feel a sense of community. That was a byproduct of doing this that I didn't realize, that doing a queer comedy show was going to create this sense of community as well. And that's perhaps been one of the greatest rewards of running gay AF comedy is having people be like, oh, it was so great to be at a show where I feel represented, where I feel like I'm part of something, and that probably is one of the biggest rewards of running gay AF comedy. And I'm so glad that more and more people want to come and join in the fun, you know.
It must have been, though, a little challenging to get it started in 2019. You said right before the close downs kind of thing.
So it was early 2019. So it was running for about a year and a bit before we had to shut it down. So our last gay AF comedy show before the pandemic was like on March 10th.
Oh God, so, like 5 days before.
Oh my God, it was like 4 days before the shutdown. 80 people in the audience, and like you could feel like it was weird because you could almost feel like everyone there's like, we might not get to go to a show for a little while, so they all came.
I like that.
And then we did get, we got shut. I didn't hear of anyone catching COVID I've never heard of anyone catching COVID at any gay show. I just want to put that out there. I mean, but yeah, and then so just switched to some online things for the pandemic.
Online for a while. Okay, cool.
Yeah, switched to concentrating on, started during like the beginning of the pandemic when we really were at home. It was about making some videos to make people laugh. Okay. And then just started sharing, really growing the Instagram for gay AF comedy to let people know that this is also a place to find gay humor and to have a laugh and find out what's going on in regards to what comedians are up to and the different things going on in Toronto, whether it's virtual or in person.
Very cool. Which venues do you play?
So since the pandemic has mostly subsided, working out of a few different places. Our flagship space is Comedy Bar West, where we put on the flagship show Gay AF, and then Gay AF produces 2 other shows around the city monthly, with a little bit of a hiatus for the summer. There's Comedy on the D, which takes place at Mandy's Bistro, which is a wonderfully queer-owned venue. Mandy Goodhandy, of course, owns that. Yeah, please support Mandy Goodhandy, amazing person and a great support to me. And then the other place is Buddies in Bad Times. I've been doing a show called Homo Say What at that,
I like that
place. Yeah. So and the relationship with Buddies, I'm really happy about and hope to continue because that is a 100% accessible venue, and that is something that I really want to be able to have options for people so everyone can enjoy. I like the idea of
all good spaces, and should get you a big sector also of our community.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I mean, I really want. I'm aware of my privilege, and I really want to make things comfortable and accessible for everyone. So it's at the top of mind for sure.
Very, very kind of you to say that. I really like people when we notice these things. So we talked about awards. A 2-time Dora Award nominee for Outstanding New Play for Young Audiences, Robert received a Herald Award in 2017 for his contributions to the Toronto theater community. What was this for, all those awards?
Yeah, so the Dora Award nominations were for shows I wrote for Roseney Theatre, which is a touring children's company. So they go into schools and they bring plays to children that usually have a social justice component to it. And so there was one play called The Money Tree that I wrote, which was all about financial literacy, because as a kid, I wish someone had told me about how money works. So I wrote that one. And then the second one is very close to my heart. It's called Birds of a Feather. And it is about a species of albatross that lives in Hawaii, where about 30% of the mating couples are 2 female birds, and they raise eggs together. So I wrote a story about gay parents, essentially, and how these are things that kids are bumping into at school, and they need to know how to approach that, and how we can all learn to just accept each other for who we are.
Very nice. I like what you said about. I wish somebody taught me about finances when I was a kid. I was saying this to my. Well, I was saying to my general manager yesterday at the media. I wish that what we learn in school is more tangible things that like managing your money, managing your health, managing your sanity, like the things that actually we take into life, and we need those things. I wish that we learned them younger.
Well, hopefully that play has helped some kids know that, and at the end, it also tries to teach this value of like friendship's more important than the newest PlayStation.
Cool. Let's discuss some topics that would fall under the heading comedy.
Yeah, please.
Let's talk about the difference between a gay audience and a straight audience.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I mean, from my experience, because my comedy is definitely from my point of view as a gay man, I do find that a queer audience can immediately tap in to the queer comedy, whereas with a straight audience, I might have to, introduce them to myself a little bit, like work them up a little bit,
slowly reel them in.
Yeah, exactly. Like, let them know, hey, don't worry, I'm a gay guy, but I like straight people. You're all fine. Don't worry, I don't like you that way. But you can
Don't
all feel
run out of the
comfortable.
theater.
Yeah.
Very nice. Let's talk about being gay and what one may perceive as a challenging field for being gay. It doesn't strike me as the least homophobic of industries, maybe. I don't know.
Well, I mean, hey, we're seeing a lot of right now specifically a lot of transphobia in comedy, which is it's become the easy go-to for punching down, which I find is terrible. It's like how is it that people can say, oh, we're not going to make fun of gay people, but suddenly making fun of trans people is okay? Quite honestly, probably the people making transphobic jokes are also making homophobic jokes that I just haven't heard. But I mean, yeah, it feels like it's everywhere. Partially because the media wants to put up a story and make people feel outraged. But I do think that overall what we're seeing is, for the most part, people are moving away from punching down in that way. And that's, I think, why it becomes a big story when Ricky Gervais or Dave Chappelle.
Oh, don't start me. I mean, I'm a fan of Ricky, but when I started watching the show, I had to turn it off because, like, in my mind, it's like, why? Like, there's almost no reason for you to go there, Ricky. It almost feels like the easy exit to make.
Yeah. It's like they don't want to do any work to make anything funny. They're just going
making fun of people is not funny, but give me a funny joke. And you are a smart guy who wrote some like really fantastic stuff, so you should do better. Fair enough.
Yeah, so exactly that. So that part is discouraging because that seems to be what the media also wants to latch onto. But I mean, there's so much positive things going on. I mean, if you look at JFL Toronto just announced a lot of their lineups, and finding out that Al Val, a transgender comedian, is going to be one of their headliners for part of their festival, which is fantastic. I have Al headlining Courtyard Comedy for me on August 6th. I'm doing my summer series again that I did last year at Campbell House Museum, which is, I like to call it Toronto's inclusive summer comedy series, because we just bring people from all walks of life who do comedy to share who they are and their jokes and to make everyone laugh. And I'm so thrilled to hear that Al is doing so well, and then it's also on my show, so people are like, oh my God, that's the person from JFL. Hey, it's great for everyone.
Okay, so there is progress. There's still a few dinosaurs still left that we need to to see where they go, but there's progress. That's good news. That's good news.
Yeah, I think it's a story that probably should be told a little bit more, and we should just sort of stop giving oxygen to those people who are the transphobic comedians. You know what I mean?
Good. Yeah. But like you said, media doesn't have a lot of things to talk about except making people rile people up and get everybody excited. So
the clickbait, right?
Let's talk about comedy itself, the importance of laughter and keeping a sense of humor, maybe.
Oh my gosh. I think it's interesting because I think comedy right now, it's not just because of the controversial aspects, but I think it's a weird thing maybe to say, but it feels like it's hotter than ever. Like it's people really, with everything that's going on in the world, people really need to laugh. And I did a show, like it was the day after Russia invaded Ukraine, and it's like not the best feeling for putting on a show, but I said at the beginning of the show, I said, sometimes it feels like it isn't a time to laugh, but then again, our mental health is so important, and laughter is one of the most important things to whatever, sparks the dopamine or the endorphins to help you feel better. We need that more and more these days. So
It
for
helps us
me,
cope with things too.
yeah, it just becomes so important. I didn't realize that putting on these shows would be such a relief for people post pandemic, and it really, the audiences have responded so well. It's great for me. It's great for the audience. It feels just this wonderful symbiotic thing where all of us, our mental health is like rising up, hopefully as a result.
That's nice. I do say in my opening, you didn't watch that. That to me, comedy is my therapy.
Yeah.
If I don't have it daily, I feel like I can't cope with the rest of kind of next day kind of thing.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people feel that way these days. That's why I think that's also why memes are so popular. Like that, just getting even that little laugh.
Yeah.
At the beginning of your day or something like that can be just enough to be like, okay, I'm gonna get through today.
Very good. So you guys are literally doing very important work. So
well then, yes, it's
you are the soldiers of keeping us smiling and happy.
Yeah, there we go.
Let's talk community. What are we doing right as a community, and what can we do better?
Do you mean as us as a queer community? Oh wow. I mean,
I have hard-hitting questions.
Yes, this one is hard hitting. Right after the comedy questions, like, let's make everyone like, okay, and now this. I think we all. I think we all fall victim to this culture of outrage that we have, and I do think that keeps us away from understanding each other and opening up dialogues. And I know for myself, I am in this category as a cis white man, though I am queer. I notice that there's a lot of people that fit my description who think that with gay marriage and all the rights that gay men have received, that we're done our fight. And that is something I couldn't disagree with more, because I feel like achieving for one segment to achieve something that they wanted and then abandon everyone else just doesn't sit right with me at all. But I do feel in a weird way that happens. And there's some weird misogyny in the gay community in particular. There's work to be done that way. There's work for I don't like being like this down on a certain segment, but I do think that as gay men we have some more to do to help others, and I hope that more and more people answer that call, because allies are what we needed. It's time for us to be allies as well.
I love it. Thank you. Thanks. Beautifully said. It reminds me of a few words that Stuart Milk, who I met at the Inspire, was my involvement there, said to me he was looking at the event and saw drag queens, old, young, white, black, people in leather, everything. He said to me, just, you guys need to remember this in Toronto and everywhere. There's no human rights if it only belongs to one group of us. It's exactly. Human rights when we all lift each other up. We have to do it collectively. So very nicely said.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Okay. We're going to take another short break, and we will be back with Robert Watson. So stick around.
Still every hurt and every heartbreak, like a hammer to the stone. But I'd rather not be with a cheater and be on my own.
And we are back from our break. You can drink.
Thank you.
You can have a drink. Let's get to know you. We're done talking serious stuff. We're done talking hard hitting. Tell me about your upbringing. Where were you born? Siblings, and current life. Where are you located? How many dogs? How many husbands?
Okay. Well, so I was born in St. John's, Newfoundland, and I was raised in Victoria, BC.
Oh, wow.
So I always like to tell people that not only am I a gay man, I'm also bi-coastal.
I was gonna say,
yeah, sometimes it gets a laugh, sometimes it gets a groan. I'm glad it got a laugh this time. But yeah, and so I grew up there. Ended up settling in Toronto because it ended up being the right place. I grew up Mormon, so that makes for an interesting upbringing, especially for a gay kid.
That is interesting upbringing. How did that?
it involved like once I realized it's so weird being a kid who's a bit effeminate because everyone sort of knows you're gay before you do. And it's incredibly unfair as a child. I will say that. I was like, hey, I didn't know. No one told me. But there you could, looking back, I can see that people were like, oh yeah, this kid's gonna here, and in a religion, it becomes. Luckily my parents weren't particularly concerned, which is great. They follow the spirit of the idea of love everyone, which was fantastic. I can't be more thankful for that. But just once I started realizing I was different, it became about hiding myself and fear of ostracization. Mormonism is a pretty strict religion, especially in regards to LGBTQ. So I like to say, I'm a gay Mormon. Is that possible? And the answer, can gay Mormons exist? You can be both gay and Mormon, but just not at the same time. So I had to make a choice, moved on from that, and part of that, the move to Toronto made it a great way to make like a fresh start and start my life and live it the way I wanted to. And I, these days couldn't be happier. My husband, Andrew Lamb, is a director, and with me being a writer and a performer, it's turned into a great symbiotic relationship. So we just love creating and making stuff and really with a focus on queer voices, queer stories. It's quite honestly, it's been a fun couple of years to be doing this and then also get some recognition for it, because really it's nice to get recognition, but doing it for the love of it is the important thing. And I feel like that's it, when you do it with that focus, it feels, when good things happen, it's like, well, good. I don't know. That sounded awkward, but it just feels great to get recognition for something that even 10 years ago, if we were doing queer stories, no one would want to pay attention.
Okay. Which hood do you live in Toronto?
Oh, which hood do I live in? So I'm in St. Lawrence Market area, but I've lived around the downtown area. So I've been in Toronto since 2000, 2001. So I lived in a few places. I up at Eglinton area.
I lived around before.
Spent some time in the Wellesley area. Lived at in the St. Jamestown condos there for a little bit, and then. And then just sort of more of a downtown area, settled here in St. Lawrence.
That's beautiful. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Now we're going to I don't know if you've ever watched this show, and I'm okay. I'm not offended if you've never seen it, but
it's been a bit. But yes. But go on.
We play a game at the end of the show. I'm just going to ask you quick questions, and you're just going to answer me whatever comes to mind.
Oh dear. Okay. Let's hope we keep this.
Are you ready? Describe yourself in adjectives.
Oh God, what's an adjective again?
That's good.
Charming, I hope.
Funny?
I guess if I don't say that, that's going to be a problem.
That'd be a problem.
It's funny. It's when it comes to being a writer, I'm like, okay, I always get adverbs and I get things mixed up so easily. It might be that I smoke a little bit of something that makes my brain go. Didn't have any today. Don't worry. I actually, I can't. Like, I did that once before a gig, and it was a mess. So I'm always 100% sober when you see me on stage.
You think you can handle it? You think I've had guests arrive on the show, especially when we taped virtual and during COVID. I can see them sneaking drinks, and then the show starts well.
This is an energy drink in this. It's orange. It's orange. Okay, it's an energy drink. Sober. There we go.
Yeah, you can mix vodka with orange. You don't know.
Well, that's fair enough.
Your favorite color?
Oh, blue, I think.
Cool. Okay. You think? Why you think?
I have a rainbow flag behind me. I'm loving your rainbow. I love, like, I am one of, like, So the rainbow isn't that cool with the kids these days, which I find sort of sad because I think it's just a wonderful symbol. I actually had a younger comedian where we filmed his set and we had a rainbow flag on stage. He turned the film to black and white so you wouldn't see the rainbow. And I was just like, what's going on? I just found that so odd. So I love all colors. Blue is probably, you know why? It's because it brings out my eyes.
Maybe the blue eyes. Your favorite season of the year?
Summer for the weather. Like, I really love the fashion of fall and winter though. So it's tough.
That's when you really dress up. Summer flip-flops and shorts. But yeah, summer for the weather. Very good answer. Summer for the weather, late fall for the fashion.
Yes, that would be the succinct answer.
Very nice. Your horoscope.
So I'm an Aries. And I 100 like textbook. Go ahead, look up an Aries. You'll know all you need to know about me.
I was gonna say, next question is, do you believe in horoscope? And you seem to do.
You know what? I find it uncanny how accurate descriptions of the zodiac can be. But when it comes to daily horoscope, choose your paper and you're going to get a different. That dated me. Choose your paper. There we go. Choose your online blog of zodiac and it'll be different. But when it comes to personality traits, I find it's really uncanny how accurate they can be.
Very nice. What makes you laugh?
Oh, I mean, okay. Probably these days watching reels of animals doing silly things. Like I don't know what it like watching a little puppy attack a big dog, thinking that it's a big dog makes me laugh. I don't know. It's something about animals
silliness versus dark humor versus sarcasm.
I mean, that's okay. Yes. So when it comes to like actual those kind of things, I mean, I love a good misdirect in comedy. So when you're talking about one thing and then you think that it's going one way and then it zips another way. Yeah. My friend Kyle Brownrigg, the comedian, is a master of that, and he inspires me to no end about things like that. Okay. But yeah, when you think you're going somewhere nice and then the story turns somewhere terrible, that usually makes me laugh.
Fair enough. And little animals doing silly things.
Yeah, that too. But you know what? Those videos can take a real turn all of a sudden too. So you never know.
What's your favorite time of the day?
Definitely so I'm at my most creative at around 4 p.m. So that's my most creative time. I mean, I do love going out at night and doing stuff too. Mornings, not so much.
You're not a morning person.
I can't help it. I get up with the sun, but I'm miserable until about 10 a.m.
After a long day, you've had a good day, a long day. What would you pour yourself to drink?
Ooh, so probably a nice glass of red wine. Probably maybe like a Shiraz or a Malbec. I like a tiny bit of spice in my wine. Mm-hmm. Or my go-to when I'm just like, okay, give me a well, not at night. A rum and diet cola will keep me up, but that's sort of my go-to bar drink. Just like, give me a rum and diet cola. I'm a cheap date. Just get me whatever the highball is.
A song you listen to frequently these days.
Well, so I'm a huge Cher fan, so I will probably.
Yay! Yeah, I knew I liked you for a reason, but there you go.
I have a whole bit on Cher. I mean, I've seen Cher in concert 5 times.
Every time she came to Toronto for the last 20 years, I went.
Oh, fantastic! Interestingly enough, the first time I saw Cher in concert was her farewell tour, which
me too, twice.
Yeah, that was 20. Her farewell tour was 20 years ago. This is a long goodbye. But I mean, I never want to say goodbye to Cher. So.
I would say, you know what? There's very little. Celebrities to me are human and I love what they do, but there's very little that would upset me when somebody passes away. That happened with Betty White and I still can't get over it. And that will happen with Cher. When Cher decides to leave our world, I'm gonna be like, no, bitch, I'll come back.
Well, I mean, the joke is that she's going to outlive all of us. So, so I mean, and I'd be
I
okay
hope
with that.
so. I hope so. I'm glad you know what? Honestly, people who really like Cher, I respect, because I'm pretty sure people who really like her see um, a lot of layers, not just the celebrity, but she's smart, she's a genius, she's intelligent, she's funny, she's self-deprecating. I love that. I love her self-deprecation of herself.
Yeah, but such a fighter at the same time, you
Fighter.
know, like the things that she had to overcome in her career, like the I mean the hills and valleys. I remember when she had to do the infomercial. Remember the infomercial back in the like that was like that before Believe came out. And everyone's like, oh, Cher's done, and then she has like one of the biggest
Yeah.
albums in
Yeah,
a
more
decade.
comebacks than anybody that we know of.
Yeah,
And
never underestimate Cher is what I would say.
and she seems to be like if you've been to the concerts, you've seen her on stage say, "I'm Cher, bitch," and she's like she's in on the joke. She knows that
Yeah.
it's bigger than life. And how
Mhm.
can okay? Actually, that reminds me of a joke, and not take too much time. I think Cher. Maybe Kathy Griffin, maybe Meryl Streep were all at Cher's place, and they're trying to order pizza, but they're also clueless. And there's like, how do you get pizza? And Cher says, I don't know, pizza just happens.
Yeah, how do you make pizza happen? I know that the Kathy Griffin special is so great. Like, yeah.
That's what she said. That's what it was, right? It's Kathy, right? I love Kathy. Um, Reading any books, any good books lately?
Oh gosh. Oh, what's the name of it? I put oh my goodness. There is this great book that I'm reading that's about two young men that enter into a relationship in the 70s as teenagers, and you know, because of the homophobia that exists, everything's going terribly wrong for them. These Violent Delights, I think, is the name of it. And yeah, it's a nice thick tome, and I've had to take a little break because of all of the stuff I'm doing for Pride Month. But yeah, it's a real page turner. So
look it up, guys. What quirks do you have?
oh my gosh, what quirks don't I have?
What quirks don't I have?
I mean, so I don't know, like the idea of a quirk, like something that's very weird that I do. I mean, I have like some weird eating habits, but I think the pandemic made all of us have some weird eating habits. Like
Okay.
it's like, you know, like the idea of just eating cheese and crackers and just like dipping it into whatever sauce I might have around is a weird quirk. Yeah, and I mean that for me, food does make me do some there's some weird combos there that maybe I shouldn't go into. People would think I'm pregnant or something if I tell you all the things the weird things I eat.
And what pet peeve do you have?
I mean,
Who drives you crazy? What drives
well,
you?
I mean, we talked about it a little bit. I mean, I don't like animosity within our community. That's probably one of my biggest pet peeves because we should all get along. What about I mean, it's the kind of thing where it's like if I tell you now, everyone will know, and they'll be like, oh, I know what to piss Rob off with. I'll just start doing this. People that show up late as a producer of a comedy show.
Yes.
Okay, that's probably my number one where it's like, okay, you're on first. They're like, I'll be there 15 minutes into the show, and then you have to change the lineup and inconvenience other comedians. That would be probably my biggest professional.
It shows a little bit less disrespect, and that's why I don't like it. I think if you respect your you know what you're doing and whatever, you should show up on time.
Yeah, hey, and I get that TTC does not work the way we always want it to, but
and I appreciate that. But I also run meetings, and you know what? You gotta. It's not the first time we travel. You gotta factor that into the equation.
Yeah. Oh, so then on the other side, TTC is also a pet peeve.
I haven't used it since the pandemic. Nothing against you, TTC. I don't want to.
Oh, fair.
In case you ever want to sponsor my show.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They need to make it possible for it to be more affordable, and then I would see whether they can sponsor anything.
If you weren't doing what you're doing, what job would you be doing?
Oh wow. I love working with people. So I mean, so even like those fragrance selling days, though, I will admit, like so selling fragrances is a commission sales position. So it's a Shark Tank. If you ever are wondering why there's so many people paying attention to you in a fragrance department, it's because they're on commission.
Are you serious? Is that why? Do you remember?
Oh, 100%.
Do you remember the episode of Friends where Joey is the? Or did you ever watch Friends?
Oh no, I remember that episode where he was like wearing like the
Okay, so it is a cutthroat. That's why there was like a lot of fighting in that episode.
Oh, 100% true. Well, like on a good day, it's a Shark Tank. On a bad day, it's a snake pit. Like it's like it is vicious. And if you're good at your job, which I was, people really don't like you. So I would, but you know what? The part of it that I loved was just talking to people. And usually, you know, when you're selling something to someone on that level, you just end up having a conversation, finding stuff about them. What a great outlet it's been, or what a great way to find just things to talk about in comedy, even, you know, by talking to people, learning what's on their minds, like, or a weird experience that ends up turning into something I can turn into comedy. So but I would go back to customer service if it paid a living wage.
Okay, fair enough. And what job would you be terrible at?
Oh, I mean, don't put me in NASA. Don't do that. We want the astronauts to live.
We want.
Yeah, math and sciences weren't my strongest suit.
Fair enough. All right.
Yeah.
Most favorite film of all time?
Oh wow. Okay. What have I like? I'm one of those nerds that ended up watching the Marvel films over and over again. But I mean, it's really childhood films that I would think of that are probably favorites. Like, I mean, this is telling. I really loved The Last Unicorn when I was a kid.
Cute.
But quite honestly, okay. My honest to God favorite movie that I probably if suddenly didn't exist and I couldn't watch it, I'd be really upset. The Muppets Take Manhattan.
You like that? I have it.
It is the funniest. It is the freaking funniest movie, and the songs, like even now as an adult, the songs like bring a tear to my eye because some of them are just so earnest and touching. Like the Muppets, old school Muppets get a big A+ from me.
We found your favorite film. What dish do you cook that none of us watching should miss?
Oh, it's like what's like my really good recipe?
Yeah, to go to.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So to the potluck, what I would bring is spinach lasagna, and it is delicious. Yeah, I make this lovely vegetarian spinach lasagna, so I know that everyone can eat it. Well, except the vegans. Sorry, vegans. But yeah.
So yeah, guys, everyone, we're invited to lasagna at Robert's place on the weekend.
I can make enough. I know how. Like I can. Yeah, I can do
it. We addressed this. Are you usually early or late? So I'm assuming if you don't like late, you're not late.
I tend to never be late, which weirdly in comedy, that isn't necessarily the best thing because when they always know that you're the one that's on time, you always end up having to go first. So it's like being the first comedian isn't always the most fun.
Robert will be here early. So yeah, let's throw him out first.
Yeah, Rob Bullitt. He's going to do it.
So you said Andrew, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're planning a very romantic date or anniversary date or something. What would you plan?
Oh wow. Okay. Well, so we did have our anniversary. We celebrated our 11th anniversary just recently. So yeah. I mean, whether like I love cooking, so I love making him a delicious meal. I think that's one of my favorite things to do. But if we were going out, I mean, it usually ends up. Once again, sorry, vegetarians and vegans, but like I love a good steak dinner, and so we'll go out for a nice steak dinner, and you know just go for a nice walk if it's a lovely evening out. Toronto has so many beautiful spaces. I
love the simplicity of that. A nice dinner and a walk is the most beautiful thing. You talk to the person you love with, and describe an ideal way to spend a weekend.
Oh, it's so funny because I wouldn't have said this when I was a kid. My dad was really big into he worked in forestry, so he loved the outdoors. I wouldn't have anything to do with it. I was like, no, I don't want to go camping. No, bugs, gross. Or oh my God, it's a harmless snake. I'm freaking out. But nowadays, I'm like, I think it just comes from living in such a big city. A weekend outside the city among nature is probably one of my favorite things.
Nice. Yeah. I would agree. And game over. All right. So before we wrap up, how do we find you and follow you?
Yes. So I have the most fun on Instagram, and my handle for that is @GayAFComedy. So just go there if you want fun memes, if you want to know what comedy shows are happening in Toronto. And sometimes we're traveling more even outside of the city. So anyone watching this outside of Toronto, I will travel with the show, and I bring everything with me, including comedians. Come and get in touch with me. But @GayAF Comedy is probably the best place to find me. GayAF Comedy on Facebook. If you want to follow me, you can just me. I'm at This Is Rob Watson on all my socials.
Thank you for sharing all that. Any last words to the community and everyone watching?
Just keep being awesome and keep being gay and fabulous. We'll say that. Because and let's just keep building and strengthening our community, and how we do that is by supporting each other. So let's keep doing that.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you for our time together, and thank you everyone for watching. This has been the finale of season 8, and as I said at the beginning, we've got some great plans for season 9, so I hope you tune in and join me. And I love you guys. Happy Summer of Pride to all. And
happy Pride!
Happy Pride!